Henry Kissinger, who Wednesday at the age of 100, rose to wealth, power and worldwide fame as the master of geopolitical chess that shaped U.S. foreign policy. The former Secretary of State and National Security Advisor did this by claiming that he was protecting American interests to contain communism while violating American values that should respect life and liberty. There are serious people who argue that he should be tried as a war criminal for bloodshed that resulted from his efforts, at the time largely hidden from public, through campaigns in Southeast Asia, helping to overthrow a democratically elected government in Chile, and supporting genocide, dictators in Indonesia and Pakistan. These deadly operations and anti-democratic efforts were undertaken because Kissinger claimed they served American interests. This is something historians can debate. The National Security Archive, a nonprofit housed at George Washington University that collects and publishes declassified U.S. government documents, has its own Kissinger obituary full of declassified materials to remind the public of what was done in his name and without his knowledge at the time. Video feedback assessing Henry Kissinger's legacy. 0446 Source CNN. There are bigger questions about whether Kissinger's geopolitical chess has accomplished anything. Should he have received Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war in Vietnam? Or did he and then President Richard Nixon help prolong war? Did efforts to contain communism help bring down the Soviet Union? Or was there too much bloodshed as the Soviet Union collapsed on its own? Regardless, Russia has re-emerged as a threat today, both Europe and in its attempts to interfere U.S. elections. Regarding the democratic elections, I was struck by a passage in David Sanger's obituary of Kissinger in the New York Times. This article comes after Kissinger revealed that he allegedly helped stage a coup against democratically elected socialist President Salvador Allende in Chile. In his defense, Mr. Kissinger said his actions had to be considered in the context of the Cold War. I don't understand why we should watch a country turn communist because of the irresponsibility of its people, he said, adding half-jokingly, the issues are too important be left to the Chilean voters decide for themselves. Opposing the spread of communism ceased to be the animating force of U.S. foreign policy. Instead, Kissinger's worldview has been replaced by a topsy-turvy view among some on the political right who are skeptical of democracy itself. Although a large-scale attempt has not been proven, GOP-controlled legislatures in many states, driven by fears of voter, have passed laws making it harder to vote. As we wrote in this, Republican politicians such as House Speaker Mike Johnson and Utah Senator Mike Lee have both argued that majority democracy is a threat to their view of American values. This is an important issue to consider after 2020, when former Presi